My school changed overnight when Brian Davidson joined my class. I befriended him despite everyone else avoiding him like he carried something contagious. My mom called him dangerous. She rushed to the school to demand my seat be moved. Brian's eyes told me everything: hurt, confusion, hope. 1 week later, his mother Catherine is facing charges. Brian is free, and the town has to face the truth they refused to see. I remember the first time Brian smiled. He split his peanut butter sandwich with me at lunch. It seemed normal, just two kids. But the teacher froze when she saw us talking. Later, my mom whispered warnings. I thought she was overreacting. But the bruises I glimpsed on Brian's arms told another story. I didn't understand then, but something was wrong. That lunch wasn't just food, it was trust, and it cost him more than I knew. At recess, Brian sat alone on the swings. I joined him, kicking my feet awkwardly. He said nothing but gave me a bracelet made of string. "So you don't forget me," he mumbled. I wore it proudly. That night my parents argued. My mom said I was getting too close to that family. My dad stayed quiet. I kept the bracelet under my pillow. Brian's silence was loud, but no one else seemed to hear it. When Brian brought a photo of an old scar on his leg, I knew it wasn't an accident. He said it happened when his mom locked him in the basement. I showed my dad. He looked shaken, but warned me not to get involved. The next day, the photo was gone from my desk. Mrs. Natterson told the class it was inappropriate to share lies. Brian didn't come to school. I started feeling like the enemy. Mrs. Natterson asked me to stay after class. She said Brian had issues, and I should focus on kids like me. Her voice was calm, but her words made my stomach twist. I asked what issues, and she just smiled. That night, I searched for Catherine Davidson online. Nothing but charity events and PTA photos. My mom saw the tab open and slammed the laptop shut. "Drop it," she snapped, but silence made me more curious. During group work, I saw Brian's hand shaking. I passed him a note. "Are you okay?" He nodded but didn't smile. Later, someone turned in my note to Principal Morrison. He called me in and warned me about spreading dangerous narratives. I asked if anyone talked to Brian. He said, "That's not your concern." I left his office burning inside. Brian wasn't just alone. He was being erased. And I was next if I didn't shut up. He fast LOWLYTRUCK by the rows to his feet park. He brought them blankets and snacks. Catherine must have found out because the next morning, someone slashed our car tires. My mom blamed my dad. She screamed that we were endangering ourselves. I sat at the top of the stairs, listening, frozen. Brian wasn't at school that week. When he came back, he looked even thinner, but no one said a word. That silence screamed. I started recording audio when Brian and I talked. I captured him whispering about a locked door, the chain on the inside, and crying through nights. I played it for my mom. She said it sounded rehearsed. My dad said we needed help. That night, Brian's father came to our house eyes wide, pleading. He said Catherine was taking Brian out of town. We called child services. They said without bruises or direct evidence, there was nothing they could do.